Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 50th episode of Spoilers. I mean, a huge milestone here for November 15th, 2012, and we are joined by the one, the only. Some of you know him as Dustin Rhodes, but many of you know him as Goldust. Welcome to our show, Goldust. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, man. I heard the music. I started walking. I thought the curtain was close by, so I could walk down the ramp, but I'm at the house instead. Hey, congrats on the 50.
All right, thank you
so much.
Yeah, so Graham's got some questions we're going to start off with.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as you just said, the big 50. I mean, we've been going at this for over a year now, and this is a big-time interview, one of our biggest guests in Spoilers history, if not our biggest guest to date. Really psyched about this, but before we want to get started off with the interview, Dustin, I just wanted to ask you one quick question. Unfortunately, last night on WWE Main Event, you probably have some insight on this, but your half-brother Cody Rhodes was unfortunately injured during the course of the matchup. I just wanted to see if we can get any update on the injury of Cody Rhodes, if you could.
I have not got an update on the MRI. It was to be done this afternoon, so I should know something in a little bit, but I know he has a mild concussion, so that's about it as far as I know. He might have some shoulder damage or a scapula type deal for where he landed on his back, I guess, more his head and back. So we'll just have to wait and see, man, because I'm waiting on the phone call too.
Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate, especially with Survivor Series coming up in a few days. And I mean, Cody rarely gets injured. From what I've known, from what I've been reading, over the last couple of years since his WWE started 5 years ago, I mean, this guy gets rarely injured. He's been in great shape since he debuted. So really hoping it's nothing bad. Hopefully he recovers sooner rather than later. So.
Well, it happens, you know what I mean? It happens in the business. I mean, he's so young in the business right now. The time he gets done with his career, he'll have probably been through 20 injuries. I mean, it happens sooner or later.
Yeah, it all happens sooner or later. It's just bad timing, A Survivor Series coming up has been a great thing with Damien Sandow at the moment. But, hopefully it blows over soon. Hopefully it's nothing serious. But, hopefully all goes well for Cody going forward. And one thing, the first question I wanted to ask you, WWE team just came out, and probably one of the better games in WWE this year, if not the best game, come out from THQ in recent years. And, of course, you're included in the game, so I just want to get your thoughts. What was your initial reaction when you found out you were going to be included in the WWE 13 Attitude Era roster?
They kind of kept it secret from me until probably about a month out, and, I was ecstatic about it because I've been in a lot of the video games and just recently released from there as a booking agent or agent / producer backstage. I didn't know if I was going to be on the game or not, but I think the Goldust character has stayed around a long time, and it's good that I've kept it alive for so long and to be a part of that game, and it is the best game I've seen from WWE so far, so it's awesome. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I'm still waiting on the game. It looks awesome from what I've seen online. I'm hoping to get it for Christmas the next month and a half, so I'm really looking forward to playing you in the game.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's what I've seen and what I've heard about the game, too. As you said, you've been in numerous WWE games before. I mean, I want to say it was SmackDown versus Raw 2010 that you, Cody, and Dustin were in it. Not Dustin, I'm sorry, your father, Dusty, were in the game.
Right.
All of you were in the game. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was a really cool combo in the game. So, really looking forward to playing a few guys in the game, both you and Cody, maybe making a tag team or something. But my next question for you, pretty broad question. Probably been asked this about a million times. But what's been the overall highlight or the greatest moment of your wrestling career up to this point?
I've done a lot of things over the last 24, almost 25 years, and I've had some great moments and some not so great moments, and clawed out of the gutters and things like that with drugs and alcohol, and trying to bring myself back and stay healthy now, and that's what I'm doing for the last 4.5 years, being clean and sober. So I would say the number one thing to date would be when I asked for help, when I knew it, finally realized that I couldn't do this by myself anymore like I thought I could, because when you're impaired and so fucked up beyond anything, you don't realize that you need help. You just say, oh, God, I can do this myself. I can get clean myself. And it never happens. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and you go into a downward spiral, and you either wind up dead or in prison or some kind of mental asylum or something. So when I don't know if it's divine intervention or what, felt something and reached out and made a call at 5 o'clock in the morning to my dad, drunk as shit, 3 days, doing so many drugs, it's crazy. I mean, that I didn't die. It was really crazy. And the WWE gets me on the plane the next day to rehab, and I haven't looked back. So I think getting clean and sober is the number one thing that number one accomplishment, number one life-saving event, the greatest thing that's ever happened to me besides my daughter was getting clean and sober. So, I mean, there's been so many great times and great matches and things like that, but that really stands out. Now I can focus on the future, on the now, and just I have no regrets. I'm not going to look back at the past because the past is history. I take it one day at a time, and that's what's keeping me clean and sober for over 4 years. So I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. It's a life choice now.
Yeah, and speaking of such, I mean, you included all that in your book. Great book entitled Crossroads. Bookstores the last couple of years. Read it. An absolutely great book. And, I mean, you went in detail within your personal life, your in-ring career. So, on that same subject, I wanted to ask you if there was any plans and intending on making a sequel to your book in the upcoming future or anything along those lines.
There's been a lot of talk on Twitter and Facebook and things like that, and people are interested in it. So it's kind of sparked my interest a little bit. And just for everybody out there, I went and I asked Cody because I kind of wanted to do it because I wanted to put so much of my family in the book, and asked him if I could name it The Crossroads. And he was, ecstatic about it and honored. But I do definitely am thinking about writing a second book, more of just my top matches and things like that, the experience about each one of them, probably a chapter, and have fun with it there so you can actually hear some wrestling instead of a Survivor type story book like I wrote with Crossroads.
Mm-hmm. It'd definitely be interesting. I mean, hopefully just keep on giving updates regarding the book. Hopefully it's out sometime soon if you do indeed go forth with the book. Because as I just said, I read the first book, really enjoyed it. Would love to hear more about your wrestling career as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. Ben, do you have any other questions you want to ask before I continue asking mine?
Not right now. If I think of any, I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, sounds good. So my next question for you was, obviously this is probably one of the biggest questions that you've ever gotten, and probably one of the more recent that you've gotten in the last year or so. And it was about a year ago that you started pitching the idea to do a feud with your brother Cody Rhodes going to WrestleMania 28 over the Intercontinental Championship, since he was champion at the time. The potential career versus title match and all that stuff. Personally, I, for one, was really hoping for that matchup. They ended up going with Cody Rhodes versus Big Show instead. Not my favorite match in the card, but even still, I think the story was there. And it even had you guys confront a few times on SmackDown, in the final SmackDown of 2011. They had you guys interact on the in a backstage segment earlier this year as well. The history was there when he was feuding with Booker T over the strap, and it was just so perfect, and they never ended up going with it. So I wanted to get your insight on it, your thoughts on the not happening, what went into the feud, your pitching and whatnot. So I just want to get your thoughts and insight on that.
Well, if we go back a little bit, when I injured my shoulder and had to get full reconstructive surgery on my shoulder when I was working, and at my hottest, I believe, in my career with Ted DiBiase Jr. And, unfortunately, my shoulder was tore up pretty bad, and it took me all of about a year and a half to get it to 80%, which is where it's at right now. And it's not going to get any better right now unless I go in and just get a steel ball in there or something like that. I mean, as far as my range of motion goes. Now, on Twitter, I just started pitching it, and I had some interest to do it, wanted to do it, and talked to Cody about it. We started really dreaming up storylines and things like that, And it just went on and went on and went on, and it really started to like grow just a little bit and take off. And then finally, now that wasn't wrestling anymore, in the producer role, sitting in the meetings, you know, and it gets to that time of, okay, Vince says, well, we don't really have a partner, or we don't really have an opponent for Cody to work at WrestleMania, and I need your thoughts right now. Who can he work? Boom, 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 whatever. And me and Road Dogg sitting in the back row, and there's a couple ideas thrown out, and then me and Road Dogg, you know, just Road Dogg actually piped up and he said, well, how about Goldust and Cody? And Vince immediately said, no, that's not the direction we're going. Sorry. So it was kind of a letdown to me, and it felt like a stab, but business-wise, for whatever reason, Vince decided not to do it. Now, me personally, I wasn't looking for a main event. It's not a main event deal. It's just a brother versus brother, good storyline, great match that we would have had, you know, a 20, 25-minute match if they would have given us the time. And, you know, it was a story-driven match. It wasn't a world title match or an intercontinental title. I was really looking forward to it. I thought we might have him hook, line, and sinker on it, you know, because I'd talked to Hunter a little while, and I brought it up to Vince several times, and he said no, and then he said not yet, and, you know, I thought that, you know, I might be able to work Mania with my brother, but it did not happen, and, you know, that's okay. It's good. Cody's the future, not me. The young guys like Damian and Cody and Dolph Ziggler and guys like that are the future. Wade, those are my four right there. Those guys are the future. And you know, for me, I've had my time in the sun and had a great career and things like that, and having fun now, you know. And it would be an honor and a great time and a great match if I could work Cody, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, maybe at some point, maybe not at WWE. And with that being said, that's what my next question for you was. I mean, whether or not it happens at WWE or on the indie scene or whatever, do you have hopes to one day face your brother, whether it be on the indie scene or in WWE or wherever? Because I know you work, you've made appearances for Northeast Wrestling in the past. We've had a lot of guys from Northeast Wrestling here on Spoilers in the past. It's a great company. I'm hoping to attend one of their shows in the upcoming future with you on the card as well. So that was my next question for you. Do you hope to face Cody Rhodes, your half-brother Cody Rhodes, at some point in time, if it was not in WWE?
If it's not in WWE, definitely, absolutely not, because WWE is the place to showcase everything that you are. It is the major leagues. It's the best, hands down. There is no other company. WWE is the place you want to be if you're a striving young athlete and going to the wrestling schools or whatever, FCW, NXT, trying to break in the business. That is the place you want to be. You want to be world heavyweight champion at WWE. And if you don't want to be a world heavyweight champion, you don't need to be in the business. You don't need to just come for a frickin' paycheck and bullshit like that, you know, and show up and say, okay, I'm going to do half-ass just to get paid so I can pay my bills. I disagree with that. I don't like it. This is the only place I wanted to do that, and the only place I wanted to do it was at WrestleMania. If Vince said, yes, we can do this right now, but it'll have to be at SummerSlam or it'll have to be at one of the other pay-per-views, I wouldn't do it. I want to do it at Mania on the biggest stage that there is. There is no big stage in the independents. You know, I love the independents now that I'm away from WWE. They're fun. I get to fan react a little more, and I get a one-on-one experience. And part of my deal right now that a lot of people don't know is I like to work with one of the students of whatever promotion that I'm going in so that I can teach him, so that I can learn him, you know, just as long as he's safe, then we're going to have a great time, and he's going to have a good match with somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing. And maybe, you know, that's how I'm kind of passing it on to the youngsters today, and that's what I like to do. And it wasn't ever about Cody, me not doing a job or anything like that for Cody. I mean, this is storyline stuff. Of course I'm going to put my brother over. He's the future. I am not. I'm the past, and I'm happy with that. Had a great career, and he's going to have a great career.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's a true shame that they did not end up going with the storyline, going to WrestleMania 28. As I previously said, they had a lot of good build-up. It was all there going into WrestleMania with the Intercontinental Championship and you being a former IC champion, holding that exact same strap when you were IC champion many moons ago with that same exact title belt. I mean, as I just said before, the SmackDown confrontations and everything. It's a shame they didn't go with it, and as you said, maybe at some point in time they will have it at WrestleMania. But, I mean, never say never for wrestling. Maybe we'll see it at some point, but I don't blame you for not having it at not WrestleMania. I mean, as you said, WrestleMania is the be-all, end-all of all storylines, the best place to do it, and hopefully we do see that match at some point on the biggest stage of them all. So, as you said, you previously said you brought up names like Cody Rhodes, obviously, Dolph Ziggler, Damian Sandow. And that was my next question for you. Aside from Cody Rhodes, who do you see being the future of pro wrestling at the moment? Or who's your favorite young, rising superstar in WWE today?
My picks are very, very clear. It's Damian, Cody, Dolph, and Wade Barrett. Those four right there, I think right now are ready for them to pull the trigger on and really push the shit out of and look towards the future for those four. I mean, and then like give them the ball and quit making them do stupid little things in mid card. But that's my opinion. And I know what I'm doing, and I watch these guys work, and I watch some of them with their attitudes and things like that. And I'm talking about all over the world, just attitudes in general. If you don't have a good attitude and you're not willing to learn and play the game, you're not going to get very far in the business. And those four really work hard. They're good workers. And from what I see so far, they got great attitudes, just like Sheamus did. Sheamus, was, when he first came in, was unbelievable. His attitude was just top-notch and wanted to learn and was trying to learn every single time, And look where he went. I mean, world champion. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly my next question. I mean, we've discussed this quite a few times over Twitter over the last couple of months. Your feud with Sheamus, I mean, that was back in 2009, I believe, when he first arrived on the scene in the Land of Extreme, otherwise known as ECW, WWE's version, obviously. A great feud that was. A little known fact, you gave him his first loss in WWE. I mean, this guy went on a 28 undefeated streak, I think, this year in 2012 before eventually losing to Punk about a month ago. And, I mean, you were the guy that gave him his first pinfall singles loss in WWE, so that is something that is quite noteworthy in my mind. But even still, I mean, that was a great feud in ECW, and he, as you just said, he eventually went on to become the World Heavyweight Champion just earlier this year.
Grant, what I really liked about that feud was that it was real. It wasn't like, I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, but it wasn't like going out there and tiptoeing around fucking trying to, put all these spots in line and order and hitting all of them and shit like that. It's the type of wrestling match that I liked. Sheamus and I was a rough, rugged match, and we just kind of went out there and just pulled it off, and made shit believable and real and made it like we hated each other and told a good storyline with it. And they kept pushing it week after week for a little while on ECW, and it was a good time. I'm grateful to be a part of that and give him like a little boost, for him to go on and just to succeed like he has. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You pretty much just answered my question. What was it like working with Sheamus and whatnot? And, I mean, as you just said, you launched a future star. The guy went on to become World Heavyweight Champion. It seemed like you guys had a lot of fun working together in the multiple episodes of ECW, the ending, the ultimate no-holds-barred match that you guys had to end the feud. And it was pretty cool. I personally found this pretty awesome, and you guys faced off on Raw about a year later, if you recall that. And it was in August of 2010. He was WWE Champion. And you guys faced off on Monday Night Raw, and they actually acknowledged your past from ECW. I mean, mentioning how you built him up in ECW during the course of your feud. So that was really cool, too, that I thought was pretty awesome at the time.
Yeah, they do that, Sometimes they get a lot of stuff right, in their writings and stuff. You've got some talented writers up there that remember some good shit and remember good storylines. And something like that is, like, for me, not one of those things you forget. And luckily the writers, caught it, and Vince and everybody else, and you get that little extra storyline this happened, so and so time, and bam, now they're back at it again. But look at Sheamus, he's grown so much. That type of shit is good. That's storyline shit. I love that.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, as much as I personally complain about WWE's logic sometimes for getting something to happen, I mean, even a mere 2 weeks ago, fast forward a year later, and he's the WWE champion when you guys went one-on-one on Raw. So, that was really, really cool of them to bring that up during the course of Raw. They showed the footage of your matches from ECW. Again, for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, go check that out. It's on YouTube. Their match from Monday Night Raw in August 2010 was a pretty good match, so make sure to go check that out as well. But, my next question was leading back into, Booker T, as we were just talking about before. Good relationship between you guys in the pro wrestling business about a decade ago when you guys had that awesome relationship going on, forming a tag team back in 2002, going to 2003, when you guys eventually became World Tag Team Champions, and all those funny, hilarious segments at 7-Eleven when you guys were starting to gradually become a tag team, and you touched upon that in your book, and I thought that was pretty cool, going back and watching all the YouTube clips of all that. That was pretty awesome, so I want to get your thoughts on your friendship and your partnership with Booker T about a decade ago.
Well, Booker T, back then, man, Goldust had his first run and did some really crazy stuff on the cusp of the Attitude Era and things like that. Then we switched it up a little bit, and I had the little run with Luna. Then we kind of came back. And, for me, struggling to keep that character alive, I wanted to do some of the old stuff that I used to do. But Vince was not high on that because of television, because the gay rights activists were calling every day, or whatever it was. I mean, he's a genius. He's a smart man. He knows what the hell he's doing. But I didn't see that, because at that point, you're just a worker. You show up, you get told what to do. You're not in the meetings. You don't hear what's going on or who's calling, what moms are calling, saying they're never going to let their children watch this shit again because it's too much or what. So we don't see all that. We just show up and do our job, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, but it didn't happen again to where I could do that. And if you tried that today, people would fart at it because there's so many gays out there, and lesbians or gay and right, it's accepted. It's not put down anymore like it was. So it was before its time. And then now at this point, I'm just kind of floating by, trying to find myself, trying to find a character, trying to redevelop it, spark some interest, and it's hard. And we stumbled upon this me and Booker thing with Booker T and Goldust at the movies, and it was supposed to be a one-time thing, and we did it so well that the writers and Vince and everybody was high on it, so they tried it again the next week, and it just grew from there, man, and it was probably, as far as the best times in my career, the first run I had with Roddy and Razor and stuff like that, those were my best, and then the Booker T Goldust stuff was right up there with it, man, because those are two of the greatest times I've had in my career. And me and Booker just had a blast with that, being the odd couple that we are, kind of like Kane and Daniel Bryan now, and it was easy. I mean, we showed up and we had some lines or whatever, but fuck, we winged so much shit. It's unbelievable. And we just did character shit. We made each other laugh. And it was funny as hell. And, I surprised myself a lot being able to do that every single week and having fun with it. I just wish it wouldn't have been cut short. But then again, I'm just the worker. I'm not in the meetings at this point. I'm not seeing the big picture, and they wanted to break us apart so that it could do a little more with Booker T, and that was great. I just didn't see it at the time. I got pissed about it, and then I ended up getting fired shortly after that, after we kind of broke up, because my attitude got shitty. And, I'd love to do that again. I really would. I don't know if Booker would. We've talked about it from time to time. As far as a full-time deal, I don't know. But he definitely can tell you that he had a blast with it too, and we do keep in touch and we talk all the time, and that was a fun time, man, in my career.
Yeah, absolutely. As I just said before, it was comedy gold. You guys had a lot of great moments. As I said before, all this stuff's on YouTube, so for those of you listening live that, excuse me, have no idea what I'm talking about and whatnot, go back and check these segments out on YouTube. It was hilarious back in the day, and as you said, it was a shame they broke you guys up so prematurely. He embarked on a singles run shortly thereafter, so it was kind of, just odd timing at the time. But, as I just said, this goes back to full circle what I was talking about before. The segments between you and Booker T earlier this year, when it was first rumored, almost exactly about a year ago, it was rumored that Cody Rhodes and Booker T would be going one-on-one in a feud over the Intercontinental Championship at some point. A lot of people didn't believe it because he was an announcer. He transformed into a commentator at the time. A lot of people didn't think, it was just typical, the dirt sheet bullshit that they usually do. And ended up happening later in the fall. So that was pretty cool. And me and Ben, ourselves, we can go check back on the podcast. Throughout the 50 episodes that we've had of Spoilers, it was about a year ago when we started talking about the possibility. It's just funny thinking about it now. But about the possibility of you facing Rhodes, given the relationship with Booker T and whatnot. So, because you guys interacted on that SmackDown, which is pretty awesome, in the last SmackDown of 2011, as I said before. So, it was Comedy Blast back in the day. It was awesome earlier this year. So any interaction you guys have at any point in time, whether it be in 2002 or 2012, is always awesome. So, Ben, do you have any more questions you want to ask, too, before I go on, or no?
Yeah, I do, actually. And as we're starting to get back in time towards your heyday as Goldust, when you went back to the WWF back in the mid-'90s and you were debuted as the Bizarre One, how did the idea for this character come about, and what was everyone's reaction when it was pitched?
Well, right before that, I was at WCW and I got fired for the juice job on the back of the semi-trailer deal that everybody knows about or should know about. And so I'm sitting at home for 8 months, and the phone rings one day, and it's Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. I said, "Hey, Dustin, it's Vince McMahon. How you doing? Great. Are you sitting down?" I said, "Well, no, I can be." So I sat my ass down, and they explained this character to me, and they, Goldust, this flamboyant, androgynous character. And as soon as he said androgynous, I'm like, what the fuck does androgynous mean? I'm like, Jesus Christ, hurry up and finish this phone call so I can look the sumbitch up in the dictionary, because I don't know what the hell that means. But the way he started explaining the character, I kind of had the idea, and I was like, okay, that sounds great. I was gung-ho to do it. So with all the preparations leading up to it, it's, a lot of office visits and costuming, designs and music and shit like that, and very involved and very cool. And finally had the debut, doing the live events and things like that. It was hard for about 6 months because I didn't want to do that gay stuff. I did not want to do that. And basically not doing that, then trying to make an impact is just Dustin in fucking gold paint. What the fuck is he doing? Why is he doing that? And he's just trying to learn how to be a heel for the first time in his career. And it was hard for about 6 months. And then finally, one night with Savio Vega, he had been talking about it, and he's great, man. I owe so much to Savio for helping me get that character over as a heel. It's unbelievable. Savio, he gets all the credit for it. And he taught me into just going behind him and, putting my arms around him and rubbing up and down his chest and stomach and shit like that. And I did it, and the fucking place blew, man. I was like, holy shit. And I scurried out of the fucking ring. I was like, God damn, that was fucking easy. And then it just built from there. I did it again, and I'd take him back to the turnbuckle, and I'd turn around and put my ass right in his midsection and kind of just rub around, and then he would chase me, and I would fucking get out of the ring again. And the place was like, God, you no good son of a bitch. What the hell is wrong with you? Your daddy's going to kick your ass, shit like that. It was awesome. It really was. And right there, man, I was like, man, I got this. This is easy. I can do this with my working ability. He's teaching me how to be heel, the right times to do things, the wrong times, and it just blew up. It was frickin' really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think that without that character you would have made the impact that you have in your career?
No, not at all.
Well, definitely. So those are my questions. Graham, you want to move on?
Well, you know,
sure.
Dustin was
sorry.
good. The Natural was very good, and the WCW days and learning and things like that. And me and Austin tore it up so many nights, and me and Arn and Bobby Eaton and Steamboat and all those guys and Barry. You know, that time was awesome. And then, you know, where it would have went from there, I don't know. But Goldust is my bread and butter, and I owe it all to, you know, Vince for giving me that opportunity. And to come back full circle now, though, after so many years being Goldust, people are starting to know, okay, he's a Rhodes, he's a Runnels, whatever. He did this back in this day, and whether they like me or not, they kind of like me now. So it's like gotten to that point to where, okay, I've proved myself, I've done a great job in my career. I'm cool. I'm going to get back to my roots. Goldust is my bread and butter, and I'm going to do them both and have fun doing it.
Awesome. So, yeah, that's my questions. Graham, you got more questions?
Yeah, sure. Just have a few more. Just wanted to ask you, with Survivor Series being this Sunday, only 3 days from now, just want to get your favorite Survivor Series moment, whether it be something that you were involved in, something that you saw, one of your greatest memories of Survivor Series up to this point.
The Survivor Series 96, I believe it was, when that was the Rock's first, wasn't it? The 96?
I think
yeah,
so, yeah.
And, you know, to be in the ring with the Rock and for him to beat me in our traditional Survivor Series match was very cool. And to see where he's gone on from there, man, and just become a mega superstar. And I love that. And I look back at some of Rock's old stuff, and just when he first started wearing that helmet and shit like that, like Farouk and stuff, you know, just the look, and to where he is now is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it just goes back to what I was saying before with Sheamus. I mean, you launched yet another star. I mean, being involved in the same match with The Rock and going on to where he is today. I mean, again, this launching career is what you've been doing since your WWE start. Since the start of your WWE days. So, yeah, I think that was pretty interesting too. And just one final question for you. Ben, do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to ask you one more question, Goldust. Just want to ask you what your future aspirations are going forward. You know, whatever it be, you know, personal, in-ring career, wrestling career, whatever it may be. Just want to get your brief thoughts on your future aspirations going forward.
First and foremost is to keep myself and my well-being clean and sober daily. And then I can focus on my family, but I have to focus on myself first, take care of myself, and then everything else will fall into place. And as far as the wrestling industry and things like that, I'm having more fun right now working once a week, you know, on an independent show where there's smaller crowds and you can get like really one-on-one attention to a fan or something like that. That's fun to me. And then passing it on to the students in the back. Like I went up to a show in Jersey a few weeks back, and I walked in the dressing room, and every one of them looked freaking 18 years old. And I was like, wow. And they're just very respectful, and they jump up, and you can see the hunger in their eyes, man. And I love it. And I just wish there's so many good, talented guys out there on the indie scene that they would get a second look, that they would actually, events or, you know, the office and whoever, actually give them that shot. And I know some of them make it to a television taping and have little mini tryouts and things like that before the show goes on. And, you know, some of them don't, but there's so many good ones out there that are deserving of a chance. And that's all I can do is just pass it on and do what I do best and show them how to do it right from wrong. And I might not be right in every aspect, but I'll show them how to do it my way. And they can take it or not, whatever. I love the business. The business isn't about money for me. Of course, money's good, but it's not about the money. It's about my passion for and the love of this sport that we're in. And I will love it to the day I die. And I will do it until I can't anymore, you know. And I would say probably another couple years before I end up retiring. I don't know. We just got to see what it holds for me, you know, and I just take it daily. So that's about it.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. No, you want to say something, Ben?
Oh, no.
No, okay, yeah, just, very well said. I completely agree. So, looking forward to where you go from here in the indie scene, WWE, wherever it may be. And as I said before, I saw you on the card for a huge Northeast wrestling show that took place, I believe, in September about 2 months ago. So I'm looking forward to probably meeting you at some point at a future Northeast wrestling show if you do end up going back there. Another great wrestling company. But, thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it. It was an awesome interview. Just wanted to get your, where the fans can find you on Facebook, Twitter, website, and your upcoming appearances. I saw that you tweeted earlier regarding an upcoming indie appearance. I just want to get your thoughts on that as well. So, just plug your stuff.
Yeah, if you're a promoter out there wanting to book me, contact me directly. I don't deal with Howard Brody anymore. It's drhodesinc@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Dustin_Rhodes1 on Twitter. That's it. I will get back to you if you email me quickly.
Sounds great. And again, we really do appreciate it. Thanks for joining us for the big Spoilers 50. You really made it monumental. We really do appreciate it. And have a good one, Dustin.
All right, man. Thank you guys very much.